2 years ago, if you said, hey, you're gonna talk to someone that started in the garbage industry, then went into pest control, I think you probably would have thought I'm crazy. What was that first jump into the pest industry like? Did you have background in it?
Yeah, I started off as a garbage man and then went into the golf course where I learned a lot about pesticides. While I was there, I thought I could do pest control on the side, and I didn't even know what an API was probably about 14 months ago. One day I took a transcript and I put it into ChatGPT and I was like, this is neat. Like, how is this doing this? So I realized like I could build an integration to every time a call comes in, it zaps to Airtable. And then out of Airtable, we can mine as much data as we wanted. There's a lot of things that we could do now. And I just think the future is going to be crazy when it comes to this stuff.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I've spent the last decade building software for the trades.
I'm talking HVAC, plumbing, electrical, landscaping, and every home service business in between.
For my entire career, building software for the trades meant waiting for Silicon Valley to notice you.
But that wait is over.
Founders on the trades are building their own tools now, and they're doing it better than any outsider could. This show is where I spotlight them. Welcome to Blue Collar Builders. Let's get into it.
Jeff, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm really excited to have this conversation. From what I understand from our first conversation, you started your career maybe in the garbage. You were kind of in the garbage man space or the garbage truck space. I want to hear about that. And now you manage a pretty big pest control business. But on top of that, you've built your own software. So I want to get into the software side here in a few minutes. But start us out with your journey to the pest control business, Pest Rangers, and talk to us about the growth of it. But give me the whole backstory here, just
Sure.
so people know.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Glad to be on. I started off as a garbage man. Never thought I'd be a garbage man to begin with, but I started there with the city of Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, through that career, I ended up bidding into a parks department job. It was a union job. I went from being a garbage man, laborer, to a truck driver, driving truck, and then went into the golf course where I learned a lot about pesticides and the green industry. And while I was there, I thought I could do pest control on the side, and that's kind of how it started.
How did you make the jump from garbage to golf? That's always an interesting jump there.
It was a bid. So union jobs, you bid on, different parts of that. I went from the garbage department to the parks department.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And then made your way to the pest industry. And what was that first jump into the pest industry like? Like, did you have background in it, or what got you into it?
No, that was it was just something I did on the side. I realized when going for my pesticide license that it was something I could do. So just started with a few customers and just built, stacked, acquired every bit I could. I actually didn't realize like what I was doing until probably 2015. Like, it was a light bulb moment. Like, whoa, I have like kind of a good business going here. I knew I didn't know anything about it, or much about the industry.
So you started the business, the Pest Ranger started what year?
It started in 2008 and then really evolved in like 2015.
And in 2015, roughly how big was the business? I don't know, people, revenue, whatever.
Revenue was probably about 400,000 at that point.
Got it.
And today we're approaching 5 million.
Got it. So some pretty good growth. Is that like because you've learned the business better? Is that because there's just more and more pests, or like what do you attribute the growth to?
I would say learning the business. We acquired, which allowed us to kind of move down south. So we operate out of the Poconos, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, but now we're all the way into Philly and over into New Jersey. But just learning about the business, technology. Honestly, technology runs your business, and without it, I wouldn't be where I was at today.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so. And on your pest control journey, I assume, first of all, you don't have any software background, I'm going to assume.
Zero.
No coding background.
Yeah, nope.
Okay. Building this pest control business, I assume you went through a few different softwares, like pest control specific softwares, or like, what was the journey of using your own kind of software there?
Yeah, I did. So we started on, I guess it was like was it a floppy disk maybe? Like that's how we kind of had to use the software. And then we went to cloud-based. But every time we switch software, I always tell everybody, it's like marriage, right? You either make it work or you get divorced. And every time that happens, it's like such a pain, right? Switching software isn't something that is fun to do.
No.
So the biggest thing in pest control is like having a software that'll allow you to expand and grow. Pest control has a lot of different areas, whether it's food safety, residential, commercial, institutional. multifamily housing. So you need something that could adapt with your business as you grow.
And so have you found, now I think you're on a pest control specific software, right? Probably because the generic home service softwares didn't have exactly the modules or things you were looking for. But it sounds like you found some opportunities even within the software you're using today. So talk to me about like the opportunities you found, and then it sounds like you started to build things. So like, I want to hear what you're building, but I guess even before you get into what you're building, a lot of people in the trades are afraid to be like, oh, Claude or Claude Code or coding. I don't do that. Like, what even told you, like, what got you over the hump that you could go use AI to go maybe change the software you're using or make it better?
It's funny. Like, I didn't even know what an API was probably about 14 months ago. No clue how they worked, but we started using our phone system, had an integration that kind of listens. It's like a communications hub. And I realized, like, one day I took a transcript and I put it into ChatGPT, and I was like, wait a minute, how could that? It
gave you like feedback and stuff.
Yeah, and it said like the tone was off. I'm like, the tone, like, this is text. What do you mean tone? Like, so I'm like, I was kind of like, this is neat. Like, how is this doing this? So I just every night I would take so many calls and put it into ChatGPT.
Copy and paste it.
Yeah, copy and paste it. Yeah, and then I realized, like, hey, through Zapier, right? I could build an integration to every time a call comes in, it zaps to Airtable. And then out of Airtable, we can mine as much data as we wanted. So we took Airtable and just kind of chunked it out. Sold calls, not sold calls, customer service development, complaints. And then I was able to see, like, hey, this technician keeps getting recognition, or this technician's getting complaints. And these are things on the phone that we weren't hearing. Like, our call takers, they would just chalk it up as somebody had a bad day when really there's multiple complaints. So we were able to mine all that data and just realize that we could take our number one saleswoman and mimic a sales coach based on her coaching style. And it just kept evolving and evolving. And we discovered a tool called Tasklet, which I believe uses Claude code in the background, but it's like, it really makes Claude code like simple. So using Tasklet, we started to just do more and more and more.
Got it. So you were using it to kind of coach your team on the calls, because it's not like you could listen to all the calls. So when you were running this kind of test, I guess, like, was there a big impact to the business? Like, were close rates going up, or like what?
Oh, huge. Yeah. The biggest thing in pest control is recurring revenue, right? So we trust that our call takers are offering a home service plan, when a lot of times, like, people are calling, they have a solution, right? Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh, I need pest control, right? There's always something that triggers that call. So, whether it's ants on the countertop or mice, they're selling that solution, but are they selling like a year-round solution? So that was the first gap that we recognized. Second was, I really wanted to focus on our marketing costs. Paying Google and all these other places for leads gets very expensive. So I wanted them to ask how they found us. Obviously, they say Google or the internet. But the second part was why you chose us. And I would say 80% of our calls, they mention our reviews, and the close rate on that is 88%. Like, if you could get them to tell you that they're reading your reviews and they're amazing, and just start that conversation, you'll close at 90%, honestly. I mean, we have those numbers to prove it.
It sounds like you could even on the call be like, train the team to be like, hey, listen, before you decide to work with us, why don't you go online and read our reviews before you decide, because the reviews are going to speak for yourself.
Yep. Well, this whole thing evolved into a program that we developed called ComboScience, and one of the metrics. Let's talk about that. Yeah, one of the metrics with ComboScience. So ComboScience started with our calls with our phone provider. One of the engineers was intrigued by what we were doing, and he took it to corporate and said.
So just to be clear, one of the engineers of the software company was like, "Wow, this pest control company is doing something super interesting in software. Like, we should look at it."
Yes.
It's funny how that reversal happens. Okay. Keep
yep.
going.
So he takes it to, and it's a big, mega company, takes it to the powers that be, and they're like, yeah, pest control is way too small. We can't focus on it. And he was like, no, you don't understand. Pest control, they get a lot of calls, like tons of calls. There's a ton of data in their calls. Let's start with them, perfect it, and we can move on to other service industries. So they could get into HVAC, plumbing, all that other. And he got, I guess, upset, left the phone company and partnered with somebody, and they approached me last October and said, hey, let's go together on this and make this a go. So now, I mean, we're looking at appointments. Like, if you called my office today and scheduled an appointment for tomorrow between 1 and 3, it knows that you were promised an appointment between 1 and 3, but now it's checking our CRM to ensure that was placed in there.
Yep.
So it goes
and it's still doing coaching, I assume.
It is, yeah. So it's doing all the above: coaching, retention, auditing to make sure notes are correct.
Yep.
It's amazing.
You know what I love about this is like you had a problem, or no, you were just intellectually curious. You started to listen. You didn't want to listen to calls, so you started to have it analyze calls. You then realized you could build essentially an MVP for yourself. It worked, and then at that point, you're like, hey, we could probably build this into a company. You partnered with like developers that could build this into a company. But like, I think a lot of people forget that if you want to just build it for yourself, you really don't need the developers. It's really when you want the scale or you want the security, when you want to really like enterprise it. But you had enough curiosity and enough tooling around you that you could have built it for yourself. Like you didn't need any engineering help, I assume, to build your own version.
Zero at all. And I'm still building in the background, and then I'll take it, to my team and just say, hey, let's look at doing this now. And it's just amazing in communication between any business, the data you could get. We even have our text messaging. You'd be surprised. People via text are very, they could be mean because they don't believe there's a human behind the computer screen answering it. So we see that. And it's just amazing because I always say in our organization that a good employee is worth more than a bad customer. And I want my team to come to work every day, look forward to coming to work every day. So these things that we have in place now, we have full transparency of what's going on in the business.
And when you talk to other, your friends or colleagues in the pest control space, like, are they using Claude, or like, do they think you're crazy, or like what is that like?
They think I'm crazy, and I just keep telling everybody like, just listen to a podcast, listen to somebody. You're going to pick something up that's going to, make you curious, and just don't be afraid of it. I think it's the terminology, a lot of the terminology they have with even ChatGPT prompting, right? It's no different than saying searching on Google, right? Like it's just how you put it.
Yeah.
But I think people are, it's half and half.
Do you think now that you kind of are into this, coding kind of side of the world and you have all the domain expertise, is there a world where you build your own kind of core software? Like you've only built one part of the software, like the call part. But if you thought about building like the quoting and the invoicing and all of that type of stuff? Or,
yeah. I mean, we're looking at everything. And now that I understand APIs and even, I don't need your API. I could kind of get your API through a back door. There's a lot of things that we could do now. And I just think the future is going to be crazy when it comes to this stuff.
How much of your time or your mindset is like, it's hard as like the CEO to like work in the business or on the business. Like this is a very easy way to work on the business. Like, are you thinking about this all the time? Like you're at a job and you're like, man, I wish I could do notes, field notes, and like talking to my phone while I'm there in the truck and have it go into the CRM. Like, is this constantly top of mind for you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We have a huge part in pest controls. We have to look at hypersensitive people that can't be around pesticides, and it could be your neighbor. So like, I'm like, I think I could build a solution for this, right? There's just so much you could do that was never possible before. So my mind's always going, like somebody says something, I'm like, I'll fix that.
Got it. Yeah, it's truly incredible. And then for the software you built, obviously you're using it. Like, what are the types of companies, if they're listening, that should kind of reach out and sign up for the software you built for, others?
Any service-based business. It's going to coach your sales. Right now, it's in the very early stages. So if there's something that somebody thinks that could be critical to the business, we're looking at it going, that's a great metric to look at. But it's going to be any service-based business.
Got it. Last thing I'll ask you, where do you think, look at your business 3 or 5 years from now, like what does the growth look like? And do you think you're more profitable or more efficient? Like what does software do for you over the next 5 years, you think?
It's solving issues we never knew we had. So we're really dialing in on like leaks, right? There was like leaks of equipment going out that people weren't billing for. So we have it looking at, who's checking out inventory versus what's getting put on, the invoice. Those things were never able to be performed at scale. And now it's just super easy. It's doing it at night and doesn't take an employee to do it. So as long as people are looking at it that way, they're going to love it.
So it's finding the problems you didn't know you had and then giving you a solution to essentially fix them.
Yep.
It's super interesting. I never would have thought I'd talk to someone 2 years ago. If you said, hey, you're going to talk to someone that started in the garbage industry, then went to kind of the parks, then went into pest control, and now is talking about APIs and backdoor network requests. I think you probably would have thought I'm crazy, but now I think you have all the domain expertise. You have everything. You have all you need.
I'm just as passionate of this whole thing than I am pest control, right? I never thought I'd be speaking software language either. It's kind of weird.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited to follow your journey.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff.